What heaven gives to earth. My children, gather around. For tonight I shall tell you a tale as old as the rice paddies themselves. It is a story of friendship, betrayal, and the mysterious hand of fate. Remember this proverb, for it holds the key to our story. What heaven gives to earth. This is a story about two friends, Tien and Dia, and how their lives diverged. It teaches us that true happiness isn't always found in gold or power. Sometimes, the greatest gifts are those we cannot earn, but are simply given. Long ago, in a small village nestled beside a winding river, lived two young men named Tien and Dia. They were both orphans, poor as the day is long, and worked as hired plowmen. Their lives were simple, filled with the sweat of their labor. Tien and Dia were as close as brothers, sharing their meager meals and offering each other comfort. But even in poverty, their differences were clear. Tien was quick-witted and eager to learn, like a young bamboo shoot reaching for the sun. Dia saw the spark of intelligence in Tien and knew he was destined for more than a life of plowing. He urged Tien to pursue his studies, to seek knowledge and rise above their humble beginnings. "Go, Tien," he said, "and I will support you." Dia toiled even harder, sacrificing his own comfort to pay for Tien's education. He sold his few possessions, working from dawn till dusk, also his friend could have a chance at a better life. "But promise me, Tien," Dia pleaded, "that you will not forget me when you are successful." Tien, true to his potential, excelled in his studies. He passed the provincial exams, then the royal exams, each step taking him further from the rice fields and closer to the emperor's court. Soon he became a high-ranking official, adorned with silk robes and surrounded by servants. Years passed, and Tien, now wealthy and powerful, seemed to have forgotten his promise to Dia. When Dia, his clothes tattered and worn, finally sought out his friend, he was turned away at the palace gates. "I do not know this man," Tien coldly declared. Dia's heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. He had sacrificed everything for Tien, and in return, he received only rejection. He was left destitute, having sold his house to support Tien's dreams. "Alas," Dia cried, "how dark are the hearts of men. I have given everything, and now I have nothing. What a miserable fate is mine." He wandered the streets, a broken and forgotten man. As fate would have it, Buddha, in the guise of a humble passerby, heard Dia's lament. He listened patiently to Dia's story, his eyes filled with compassion. "Your kindness will not go unrewarded," Buddha assured him. With a wave of his hand, Buddha magically provided Dia with a small boat. "Become a ferryman," Buddha instructed, "and you shall earn enough to survive." Dia gratefully accepted the gift and began ferrying people across the river. Dia worked diligently, but he earned only enough to feed himself. He could not save any money, and his life remained a struggle. Soon, the anniversary of his father's death approached, and Dia was heartbroken that he could not afford to make offerings. On the eve of the anniversary, as Dia sat in his humble hut, a radiant light filled the room. A beautiful fairy, sent by heaven itself, appeared before him. "Dia," she said, "your goodness has been seen, and your suffering is over." With a flick of her wrist, the fairy transformed Dia's dilapidated hut into a magnificent mansion. She filled it with treasures, servants, and everything his heart could desire. "Heaven rewards those who are kind and selfless," she explained. The fairy then created a sumptuous feast, fit for a king, for Dia to celebrate his father's death anniversary. Dia was overwhelmed with gratitude, his heart overflowing with joy. He finally had the means to honor his father's memory. Dia, now a man of wealth and influence, decided to invite Tien to his house for the death anniversary celebration. He sent a messenger to Tien's palace, extending a warm invitation. Tien, surprised by the invitation, accepted, curious to see what had become of his old friend. When Tien arrived at Dia's mansion, he was greeted with kindness and respect. Dia treated him as an honored guest, offering him the finest food and drink. But Tien's heart was not filled with joy for his friend. Instead, it was consumed by envy. Tien could not believe his eyes. Dia, the poor plowman, now lived in such luxury, and Dia's wife, a woman of unparalleled beauty, only fueled Tien's jealousy. He longed for what Dia possessed. Consumed by envy, Tien approached Dia with a wicked proposition. "Dia," he said, "I will trade you my official position, my wealth, everything I own, for your wife and your possessions." Dia, surprised by the offer, hesitated. But the fairy, who was still present, whispered in Dia's ear, "Accept the offer, for a valuable lesson is to be learned." Dia agreed to the trade. Tien, overjoyed, signed the agreement and promptly fell asleep, drunk with wine and greed. When Tien awoke, he found himself back in the ferryman's humble hut, his fine clothes replaced with rags. He had lost everything: his position, his wealth, and his status. He was now the ferryman, living the life Dia had once lived. Dia, on the other hand, became a successful and respected official. He used his intelligence and wisdom to serve the people, earning their love and admiration. He found true happiness not in material wealth, but in the blessings of fate. Dia understood that true wealth lies not in possessions, but in kindness, loyalty, and the grace of heaven. He lived a long and fulfilling life, surrounded by loved ones and remembered for his goodness. My children, remember this tale. True happiness is not found in greed or betrayal, but in kindness and loyalty. What is truly valuable is often beyond our control, a gift from heaven. What heaven gives to earth is a reminder that some things are meant to be. We must strive to be good and kind, for heaven sees all and rewards those who are deserving. Let this story be a cautionary tale against envy and the pursuit of fleeting riches.